Hey.
Good evening, YouTube friends. Snappy Pappy here. I had something I wanted to share with you. I got a nice 10-page letter from a Amish friend of mine the other day, and I thought I'd just read you a little bit of it. Nothing personal or anything like that. We're not going to call any names or anything like that that you might could figure out who they are or where they are or anything, you know. I just wanted to share a little bit of it with you. I love to read their writing. He always writes me a little bit in German or Pennsylvania Dutch, and I don't know if that's his way of suggesting that I learn to read and talk their language, or I don't know. I'll carry the letter with me next time I go to see him. I'll take it with me, and I'll get him or his wife or one of the kids to read that little section to me, and then I'll come home. Maybe I can figure out what some of it is. Learn to teach myself to read a little bit of it, maybe, huh? But anyway, this is Herman. Me and him been friends for a lot of years, and I'm better friends with his brother, Herman. And I lived closer to Herman until I moved down here on the river, and now I live closer to Abraham. But me and Herman goes back a long time when we were both young men. And I've spent many a day with Herman, and he had a sawmill, and we'd sit on the log, and we'd have a good Amish English talk about things, and it was always enjoyable. But he taught me a lot about their ways, and I don't think he wanted to know too much about our ways. I can't blame him. I'm gonna tell you, knowing the ins and outs of both of them, I'll take his way. I'll take their way. I believe they're way ahead of us. But anyway, last December, Herman moved off to North Carolina, and my health's been bad and stuff, and I hadn't been able to get up there to see him yet, but I'm going to try to get up there sometime, hopefully before Christmas. But anyhow, last year, Herman asked me he hadn't seen his brother, Abraham, down here in over a year, and he said, I promised my dad that I would watch after him, and so he said, Ricky, would you consider taking me down there to see him? About 110 miles, and he said, I'll pay you. And I said, I'd be glad to take you, Herman, but you don't owe me nothing for it, for doing it. And he says, well, if I went on a bus or got a taxi or something like that to take me, I'd have to pay them. I said, well, but I don't mind us just spending a day going for a good ride, and having a good chat, and seeing some things for the first time together. And so just tell me when it is you want to go, and we'll go. And so we got it all lined up, and we went, me and his wife, and 2 or 3 of his kids went. The oldest girls, I think, and 1 boy went. And I just carried them over and dropped them off, and I only stayed a few minutes, and then I left, because I figured it was their visit, not mine. And so I come back at the time that he said he wanted me to pick him up, and we visited with his brother and all then a little while then, and when we went back, and it was all good. And then later on, Abraham walked over to a neighbor's house and called me and wanted to know, could I possibly come and get him and take him to the doctor in Lawrenceburg, Tennessee. It's 50-something miles, And I said, yeah, I'll take you up there, Abraham. And so I went over and picked him up, and him and his wife and his 2 daughters and 2 sons all went. And we had a good day. We had a real good day. We laughed, cut up, and had a big time, and just really had an enjoyable trip. And then not long after that, he wasn't getting no better, so he called me and asked me would I consider taking him to Florence, Alabama, 75, 80 miles, to a chiropractor down there. And of course I told him I would. And so he kept trying to pay me every time I take him, and I said, you know, you don't owe me nothing. I might need you to help me do something one of these days. And he said, well, if you do, holler at me and I'll help you. So anyhow, went along there, and here the other day I looked in there and got this letter out of the mailbox, and I said, well, look here, I got me a letter. They write me every once in a while, and I just enjoy it. I read it and read it and read it and read it. You don't get many letters, and I sure do enjoy getting them. You don't get them no letters from nobody, hardly, but I read you just a little bit of it, just little parts that don't really amount to nothing much, you know, but just like right here, he says, wow, this is already the last day of August, 2017. Time goes too fast for me, but I guess that is good. I must submit everything in our Heavenly Father's hands. And then he goes on to talk about how we got a rain and how it was hot in July and all that stuff, and sit out there under their white oak tree that the highest temperature they had this year was 87. That was in August. And he said most of our crops did pretty good this year, although it seems like our market only has a certain size, so we find it difficult to make a living with produce only. So we continue investigating other options of income with the work being at home. And he goes on to say that one of his boys wanting to start shoeing horses for people, and I guess people ride horses and stuff like that, you know. And they gonna build some dog houses and sell them. And one of his oldest daughter, I think she's been doing a little teaching teaching some of the homeschool kids in the neighborhood and stuff like that. And then he says here, it says, one of his boys got hurt, had a little accident, and he wanted to share that with me so that he could pass on the remedy that he come up with for it. And it says, I would like to share Benjamin's little accident last fall for the sake of sharing simple remedies in case anyone ever needs them. I and our 2 boys were in the process of loading logs onto our wagon, and the bar we were using fell on Benjamin's head. Afterward, he felt a little dizzy and jittery, so I called the chiropractor and asked for advice. He recommended putting ice on his head for 15 minutes while having his feet in hot water for 30 minutes. Benjamin soon felt better. There you go. A little hot water, a little cold water. I guess it fixed everything in between, huh? Anyway. Oh, Lordy. Said they had a group of people come in one day, and I don't know, it might have been a church group or something, you don't really say, and said they gave them wagon rides and horse rides, and gave some lessons on organic gardening, mushroom, inoculating. I didn't know you inoculated mushrooms, but that's what it says. Trimming horses' feet, cutting wood by hand, sewing, and art. Says, we hope to do some more of this. Well, I think that'd be a good thing. You could learn a lot of stuff from them, and it'd be sure be a good day, a fun day. And then he goes on, and they done a bunch of traveling this summer. They went to Kentucky and visited some of his folks and some kin folks up there. I think he's got some brothers and sisters, and maybe his daddy and mom, or his daddy lives up there. And had a good time doing all that, looks like. And then he says, talking about the people that they've had to come over to his house and everything there, and he says, right here, he says, all visitors are welcome here. Some when they come and some when they go. Ha ha. We recently had a drunk in here on a four-wheeler. That's the type that are welcome to go. I reckon so, Abraham. Lord have mercy. So, yeah, he talks about going to up there to see his daddy and them, and visited with some of their old friends and stuff that they had when they lived up there, and talking about the sweet memories that they had. And they attended his widowed sister Emma got married while he was up there, and they went to the wedding. And it says, their wedding brought many sweet memories back to me of our own wedding. Well, ain't that nice? So, went on there, and they got around, got right smart of this. I don't think he's got to go to North Carolina and see Herman yet. I might, when I get ready to take my trip, I might see if he wants to ride up there with me, and we'll visit. We'll get the visiting done together. And his oldest daughter, she stayed up there with some of the folks, and she's going to teach in the community up there, I guess. And yeah, it says there that talking about leaving his daughter there, he says, our family is no longer complete at home, and we miss her. It was hard on my father's heart to let her go. Yeah, I can imagine, because they're together all the time, and from the day they're born on up, and they just, you know, and then all of a sudden you look around and they ain't there. It has to be pretty hard. It says, we watched the eclipse of the sun through the brims of our straw hats and through pinholes in cardboard on August 21st. God's creation is amazing. Talking about the weather being nice and everything. Here's my health advice, he says, for the year. Be careful with LED lights. I recently read an article that says excessive exposure to blue light, however, such as that from LED lighting, can be quite harmful and may be a significant risk factor for age-related macular degeneration, which is a disease that destroys your sharp central vision. I want to use my LED headlight less. Well, Abraham, that's right. You need to get your kerosene lantern out, throw that light in the creek before you go blind, can't see nothing like the rest of us. Then he talks about the election of Hillary and Trump. And he was worried that Hillary was going to win, and I don't think he really thought too much of either one of them, the way he talked. But he says, he gets his comfort here, and he says that, but then I was comforted with the words of the prophet Daniel. Blessed be the name of God forever and ever. For wisdom and might are his, and he changeth the times and the seasons. He removeth kings and setteth up kings. Our Heavenly Father is above the kingdoms of this world, although they do not always do God's will and cause persecution. So, pretty much everything he does, he goes to his Bible, and he finds him an answer in there for it. And then he always throws in a little sermon here on the end, and I guess he's looking out for me. But then at the end of the letter here, he says, "Please write. We would like to hear from you. God bless you, Abraham." And it just does me good when I get one of these letters. There's others that I get letters from once in a while, and I keep them all. I wouldn't take nothing for them. But I guess that's one of my proudest accomplishments during my life, is that along the way I was able to earn the respect and trust of the Amish community, and that's something that don't come easy. They pay attention to people, they watch people, and especially people that coming around doing business with them, and I did a lot of business with the Amish over the years. I'd go down and buy produce from them and take it and resell it, and bought a lot of lumber from them over the years for myself, and had a lot of logs cut down at Herman's sawmill, and plumb on back till I was a real young man. I went down there and carried some logs down there that I cut off a piece of land I had, and got them to saw them up for me in lumber, and come back and built me a little old cabin. And ever since then, I've always, I'm not down there all the time. I ain't under their feet and ain't worrying them to death and trying to be a nuisance. But whenever I need something, or whenever I need to talk to them about something, or want to tell them something, or whatever, I'll drive down there. And where I did live before I moved down here is about, 40 miles, I guess. It wasn't that far. And if I happen to be coming back through there sometimes, when I come down here to go fish in the river or something, I'd stop in and visit with one of them or some of them. Herman more than anybody else. Me and Herman always had a good time. We'd always laugh, cut up, pick at each other, and play. And one time, right after I had that second heart attack, I was down there one day, and I stopped in and visited Herman there a little bit, and we was talking, and I said, "Herman," I said, I had this heart attack, and I ain't gonna be able to do much this summer, rest of the summer. I said, there around the house or nothing, no. I said, I believe I'll just what do you think about me just coming down here and just spending the rest of the summer with you? And I'll help you around the place here, you know, doing what I can. I can drive the horses and stuff like that. I said, you know, I was raised up just like you was. I said, you just Amish and I'm English, but I was raised up with, you know, with no electricity and we had worked horses and you know, burnt wood and done everything just like you do, pulling water out of a well. I said, I know how to do stuff, and I could be some help to you. And he looked at me, and he sat there, and he got a grin come on his face, and I thought, yeah, he fixing to get me for something. And he said, Ricky, he talked slow. He said, Ricky, I don't believe you'd be what it would worth what it'd take to feed you. Oh well, at least you're honest. So I think he kind of meant it in a joking way, but we had some awful good time, awful good visits. I've been in lots of them's houses, and ate with them, and you know, rode in buggies and horse in the wagons and the buggies with them and stuff, and I almost moved down there and into the community, and something happened. It didn't work out. Didn't make it. But anyway, I just wanted to share this with y'all, and I hope y'all so if you hadn't done it yet, and if you don't mind, I'd sure appreciate it if you know, like and subscribe, and leave me a comment. Tell me what you think about the videos. If it's too bad, just don't say nothing. Just, you know, ain't no need to hurt nobody's feelings, is it? But alright, folks, I got to get over here and fix me some supper. I got hungry, and look like my fire's about to die down here. I'm going to get me some wood. But anyhow, we'll see y'all next time. Y'all take care, and good night.